Let's talk a little bit about this year and what's been happening in the world, in Portugal, and of course, my expertise, real estate. Otherwise, why would you be listening to me? 2023, there's been wars, there's been interest rates, inflation. It's just been complete chaos everywhere. And that's one thing I have to say, how lucky and how grateful we are to live in such a safe country such as Portugal. Yes, the market's been up and down, and yes, we've had some issues in work and we've had less people coming in, maybe less people buying. But at the end of the day, it's actually been really positive. We've had an amazing year at the company. We've seen sales going through, we've seen more people coming in, and not just that. You know what I've noticed? I've noticed people staying in Portugal. They're not just coming, investing in Portugal and then going away. People who come are deciding, this is my place, this is my home, and this is where I'm going to raise my kids, or even just stay, retire here, live here, be here. I'm going to dip into a little bit of the facts. Golden visa, that stopped. So last year, the golden visa stopped for the residential real estate market in Lisbon. Now it has stopped everywhere. There's no way of getting a golden visa by investing into any residential property in Portugal. Not only that, investment funds, no longer possible to get your golden visa through an investment fund that has residential real estate. That's a bit of a sucker for me because I have a real estate investment fund. So that's been very annoying. And yes, a lot of investors invested in, poured that in up until May, and then boom, that stopped completely. So we've seen that in that sense, it has gone down a little bit. NHR, Antonio Costa, the Prime Minister, who has now resigned, has announced that the NHR is stopping. That was a massive, massive bomb that was launched. And oh my goodness, it has caused havoc. Yes, people have been wondering, well, what's going to happen next? These volatilities and instabilities in the government have meant that people no longer want to invest or are scared to invest. That we have been seeing a lot. What does this mean, the NHR stopping? It means that anyone coming into Portugal asking for that non-habitual residency will no longer be able to benefit from that tax regime at 10%. Not true, however, for the Açores and Madeira Island, which is still possible as of next year. Anyone that has their NHR regime are not going to be touched by that. People are pouring into the country right now. They are trying to buy real estate, and they're especially trying to rent. A lot of people are renting and waiting to see when the market is going to go down. There's been a lot of opportunistic investors just waiting to see, are those prices going to go down with less demand? Could be. We're going to see that in the next year. We're going to see people coming in looking for deals. I've seen the tourism industry grow a lot. Portugal has been voted the 7th most peaceful country in the world according to the Global Peace Index. That's not surprising to me. That's because the crime rate is low and it is a peaceful and safe country. In fact, tourism has even been rising as well. We've been seeing people looking for more type of hotel and branded residents that are popping up all over the country. That is a sector that is going to grow next year, and we definitely know that. More people are coming here and are visiting the country, which is beautiful and safe with easy and direct access all over the world. With less people coming here for the fiscal reasons, that's also suggested something that's very important to me, in the matter of fact. That means that people have been moving here to stay. Residents have been actually creating jobs, launching new companies. We've seen startups coming here, especially with the Web Summit, for example. A lot of tech and very talented individuals have been coming to Portugal and setting up their businesses, setting up their companies, whether this be through hospitality, whether this be through new restaurants, which we've seen popping up, or even new type of sustainable development properties and projects. That could be hydrogen, for example, and a lot of other things, windmills. We've seen a lot of new sustainable energies coming up, and this is all happening here in Portugal. So let's not forget about that. I find that Portugal in itself has grown as a community. People have come more together. With the war, with what's going on in the world, we've seen people get together and create things. Now, how is that impacting our market? Well, the real estate market, even with the ups and downs, has still been very strong. In fact, Portugal in the prime real estate is the second best in Europe. Interest rates, yes, they've been on the rise. Inflation as well has been very high, but according to EU standards, Portugal is at 2.1%, which remains relatively low. Within the next year, things should probably and hopefully stabilize, so we're going to see that more people are going to be able to get better interest rates and are going to be able to borrow a little bit more. The lower end and middle range real estate has been a bit on the decline, and we're going to see that there's going to be more supply. Also, real estate developments that have too much supply, especially those that were catered for the golden visa, are also going to go down a bit. Maybe we're going to have a little bit less Europeans coming in that have benefited from the tax regime, but we're also going to see a lot more American individuals coming, Brazilians, Asians and people from all over the world, even Australia, are coming into Portugal. And not just for Golden Visa, that is to live in Portugal, to create jobs, to raise their kids. So that is very interesting to see this difference. Very different to what happened in the crisis of 2008. Portugal is now on the rise and more people are coming in. We are seeing a huge amount of cash coming into the country as well, and people are pouring it into developments. What I do believe is that people are going to be a little bit on the watch down and not going to invest as much, but come the spring, I tell you, things are going to pick up again. They're going to realize that Portugal is a safe place to be and to invest. And there are going to be opportunities with distressed assets. Of course, people are going to want to buy in, and especially some developers that will not be managing very well, these could be bought up by other developers. So distressed assets also means opportunities on the rise. With that being said, developments, there has been a lot of hustle and bustle saying that it's very difficult to obtain licensing to deal with the construction here. Yes, it's true, that has been on the slowdown. But what we did discover is this year, there's actually been an 8% increase in the obtention of construction licenses. So that means finally, after COVID and after this, it's getting to get a little bit easier. Now, what about me? What's been going on in my life? Well, a lot of things have happened in 2023. First of all, we set up our business in Ibiza. So I've actually spent almost 4 to 5 months of the year over the summer in Ibiza. Now that's been fun. It's been understanding the market. Who are the buyers? Who are the sellers? And how are we going to create this market? And how are we going to manage Bonte Filipidis, Portugal, and Ibiza? Well, very simple. It's because we are Bonte Filipidis. Whilst I've had my best friend and my partner James in Portugal working very hard and closing deals here, I've been in Ibiza creating the business and setting that up there as well. And we're both very active at both markets, and I'm super happy that it's going very well. We're closing deals there as well. Finally, we weren't sure that was going to happen. And we are, of course, employing new people because it's all about the people that surround you. And we finally found an amazing workforce, and we're so happy to be able to have that. Not just that, this year of 2023 has also been a spiritual awakening for me. I've gained a lot more consciousness, and I've understood the meaning of being in the present. Not so much about what happened in the past, not so much about what's going to happen in the future, but being now and enjoying who we are, who we're with, and our family and friends around us. I think we have to say that we're pretty grateful for business, grateful for family. And with that being said, there's one thing that I've wanted to do and that we've created in the company is the sense of community. I love the way that we can gather people together and that we've been doing this for years, because that's what Portugal's about. It's a melting pot of expats. Within the company, we've even moved a new office. We now have a home. It's not just an office. It's a space for us to work, to collaborate together, and of course to interact and to engage in new ideas. We're doing workshops, yoga, meditation, gym, all sorts of workshops, languages, and that's just bringing us together. Because I believe as a community, we're much, much stronger than doing alone. Alone, you walk a mile. Together, you walk a journey. And I truly believe that, and that is my ethos for next year.